Lebanon was part of the peace agreement. No, they weren't. Yes, they were. It doesn't matter if Lebanon was part of the agreement. These cats, who somewhat friendly with Iran, we'll call them friend. It's us and it's Israel. That's the team, right? On the other side, it's Iran. And we go, all right, peace deal. Israel, U.S. won't bomb Iran. Iran won't blast anything at U.S. or Israel. We all shake hands. And then Iran goes, you didn't say anything about Qatar. You didn't say anything about Saudi Arabia. Pew, 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 pew. Those are some of our friends in the area. And we would be like, yo, that is not the spirit of the agreement. The spirit of the agreement is everybody stop killing everybody. Everybody love everybody. What Israel did is they go, all right, so Trump's brokered this deal, and we've agreed to it, I guess. Let's just attack these people over here. They know damn well that undermines the peace process to do a massive bombing campaign. Welcome to Loaded Talk. I am your congressman, the third most popular candidate to ever be. I am Frank, along with me as always.
What's up, planet Earth? I'm Bean.
Bean. Sorry for the weeks away. We can't really disclose all the details, but we had to travel overseas to talk with some people in some lands or territories, and just shake some things out. Anyway, but we're back now. And that's the important thing. And now that we're back, the world is beginning to heal. All right. Anyway, we can't really say more than that. So, I guess we can start. We'll start with a little Iran update. We won't start with this. This is too fun. We will get to this. All right. So, as we know, Iran has been an issue. We're at a war, not war thing. We have a military action.
Thank you.
Yes. So when we what happened recently was Trump's like, all right, I got a ceasefire. Like, everybody chill out. And we're pretty close on these 10 key points that they have, 10 key points we have. I think this will work out. So, starting tonight, it'll be good. And then Israel's like, why don't we bomb the hell out of Lebanon? And so they bombed actual Beirut. Not just this kind of weird. Normally all the stuff that happens with Hezbollah is always in that, right over the border, and it always looks like it's just hills and, maybe little structures here and there, but it's very, very rural. And you go, well, Lebanon's pretty much just they're over there. Who cares? They shoot, whatever. And for whatever reason, now it's very important to go and just do the largest bombing campaign in Lebanon, ever, maybe? I don't know. Maybe in decades. But, and so they did that right away. And Iran was like, hey, tell them to stop doing that. They were supposed to be in this whole peace agreement. And the Pakistani people who helped broker this thing were like, yeah, they were. And then America was like, no, they weren't. And Israel was like, no, they weren't. And so, but Iran was like, well, still, I'm not opening the Strait of Hormuz. And I'm going to shoot some things in different directions. So it was kind of not, the ceasefire somewhat remained, but the strait did not open. And we, as of yesterday or day before, we were like, all right, how about we are in charge of the strait? And so, you might not be letting ships through, but we're not going to let your ships through. They can't come in and they can't come out. They can, And so sure enough, I think earlier today, Admiral Bradley Cooper, from CENTCOM said that there was 10 ships had been turned away, and that ships that were destined for Iraq and Oman or wherever they were going, I don't know, other places. They allowed those ships to go through, but anybody heading to Iran or anybody coming from Iran was just told to turn around. So far, no blasting, which is good. Last week, they said they were clearing mines in the Strait of Hormuz. So that's something. And so now it sounds like Iran, as of yesterday, they're signaling they might be open to letting ships get through the strait on the other side. Not on their side, on the other side. Okay, you know. But we got word. I guess, where is it? Go ahead and pull this up. Bloop. So, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day pause in the fighting, starting Thursday at 5 p.m. That's pretty soon.
30 minutes.
30 minutes, they'll stop. How much you want to bet in about 5 minutes, a whole bunch of missiles just rain down on Lebanon? And they go, okay, we're done now. We'll get to that in a second. Following quote-unquote excellent conversation had with each nation's leader, the Israeli and Lebanese governments agreed to the ceasefire following more than a month of war between Israel and the Iran-backed Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon. And then Hezbollah said in a statement, any ceasefire must be comprehensive across all Lebanese territory and must not allow Israeli enemy any freedom of movement. Israel has staged a ground invasion in southern Lebanon, which Netanyahu says Israel will continue to occupy during the ceasefire. Hezbollah said that continuing Israeli occupation grants Lebanon the right to resist, which is always, like, I get not ceding ground, right? But it kind of depends on how we're going about this, right? If it's a ceasefire, we're going to be chilling by a campfire here, making some marshmallows, maybe going over some plans, listening to a little music. Like, all right. And then Hezbollah goes, all right, well, that's fine. Now, if Hezbollah goes, we have to attack to resist, obviously that's not great, because then Israel's going to attack to defend or whatever. However, there does seem to kind of be a pattern sometime that occupying ends up being a fairly aggressive movement. You know, this term settlers, you go, oh, that sounds like a dude with like a bindle, you know, who's just like, this seems like a good place to plant my flag. Like, I'm going to build a home here. But in practice, it seems to involve either police or IDF escorting Israeli citizens into the homes of Palestinians and then just taking them, with military backing, which is not settling. That's just stealing a home. So I have some concern that we're going to start getting some fun with language during this little occupied area. And there'll be a lot of people, quote unquote, defending themselves back and forth while Trump sits there going, not a problem, just don't bomb, you know? All right. He also said he's going to invite Netanyahu and Lebanese President Joseph Aoun to the White House for the leaders' first direct talks in over 30 years. Aoun had refused to speak with Netanyahu hours earlier. Israel and Lebanon's respective ambassadors to the U.S. held their first direct diplomatic talks in decades earlier this week. And Pakistan's army chief met with Iranian officials in Tehran in a bid to extend the separate ceasefire between Israel, U.S., and Iran. All right. So, that's good. I mean, that's something. It seemed like when we got that ceasefire that almost reopened the strait, I was like, this could, like, okay, like, whatever has happened, exit ramp. I like an exit ramp, you know? Everybody, it seemed like everybody that was complaining, okay, so leading up to this ceasefire was Trump's tweet about, exterminating the entire Persian population and taking out all the roads and power plants, and said something about the great or Allah. What do you say about Allah?
Praise be Allah.
Yeah. And so you go like, so everyone's like, he's talking about genocide. He's going to genocide, kill everybody. And then you go, yeah, that's not good. And so then when he announced he's like, okay, ceasefire. I think we're going to get a nice peace plan. All those people who were complaining about genocidal language were like, what a chicken. Like, he taco. Trump always chickens out. He's a chicken. What a sissy. Look at that. And it's like, guys, we don't try to goad him into genocide. We go, oh, good. He didn't do genocide.
Logical thought.
Yeah. Boo suggesting genocide. Yay not committing genocide. It's a pretty simple thing, you know? You can say you got a problem with his language and a problem with his tactics and all that stuff. Fine. But when he doesn't commit genocide, when it seems to be on the table, that's not when to say, look at you, failure. Give the man some roses. Go, oh, thank God you didn't kill all the people. You didn't wipe out the entire Persian population like you suggested a couple times that you might. So, right call. Right call. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack in the time that we've been gone. Luckily, we've been able to get all this stuff straightened out for everybody. But yeah, and so after things kind of fell apart with the peace talk due to Israel literally using that moment to unleash their largest strike campaign of this entire conflict and then some, including getting into Beirut and leveling apartment buildings and stuff, not just staying on that kind of perimeter area. Because of course, they identified 100 Hezbollah sites. And we're able to strike them within 10 minutes or something. And you go, oh, that entire apartment building, huh? Like, yep, Hezbollah. Whole thing. Yeah. That's how it works. It's military stuff, terrorist stuff, really.
Oh, they're all near ports? Weird.
Yeah. That is. Anyway. So a lot of people are upset. They said, Israel killed the peace plan or the ceasefire. And then folks who view Israel more friendly say, well, no, it wasn't part of the ceasefire agreement. So they didn't do anything. And if you either have to take the word of Iran and Pakistan or the word of Trump. And so, we don't know. So you got to choose who you probably believe in this. And my point is none of that matters, right? Now it's interesting. One interesting kind of, I don't know, if you're a Trump 4D chess kind of guy, right?
4D.
Yeah, that's how Trump's out there playing 4D chess. He just looks like a crazy person. But one interesting thing about it was in Iran's calls to not bomb Lebanon, they got real close to taking credit for ties to Hezbollah, which they've always said, no ties. They're just an independent group of people. And so they got real close to having to go, they're our group. Like, you can't hit them. That's us, And they had to kind of, but they almost got there. You could tell they were just about to do that. And they're, well, brothers in arms and all that. And, but, so not us, but we're friends, right? And so that's kind of an interesting thing where that they had to kind of like lift up the curtain a little bit there.
Wonder if that was a goal of Israel to try to extract that. Jesus.
Yeah. It's all right. We got to knock the rust off here, Charlie. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. It could have been. Who knows? It seems somewhat unnecessary.
Well.
Just because there's not been a lot of, everybody knows where the funding comes from. This is not a great mystery. And they go, no, but it's not us. And they go, look, we hide the money, prove it. And then we send money to other groups and we go, we didn't do that, prove it. So, it's a game. But So I don't know. It's an interesting outcome, but somehow I don't think whatever it was, I forget the number now, the 400 missiles or whatever in an hour. I don't think
It was that many?
it might have been 115 or something, but it was something like that. I think 115 in an hour.
Oh my god!
It was like 115 across 10 sites.
That means they're gonna ask for more money.
Yeah, they are. And they're gonna get it too. It's gonna be approved in the next budget. But my whole point, people go, Lebanon was part of the peace agreement. No, they weren't. Yes, they were. No, they weren't. Yes, they were. You got to support America and at least, believe our side on this. Everyone's just hungry to blame Israel for things. Okay. It doesn't matter if Lebanon was part of the agreement, right? We all know Hezbollah is their homies, right? We all know that. Even if they're totally disconnected financially, which they're not, but they are like-minded individuals. They're like-minded groups, right? And to a degree, Lebanon, is... I don't think they consider themselves an ally of... Well, I mean, Hezbollah has been ingrained in the military for a while, and it was only recently, I think with this new prime minister, that they have someone who is the prime minister who actually is not Hezbollah friendly, which is one of these strange things where you go... Because the election was held up for a long time, where it was like no decision. I think something like lawsuits or something. Lots of conflict for a while on who won, and eventually the guy who seems to be a positive step, we'll see, he won. So you go, well, that could be something. You still have a large portion of the country run by essentially Hezbollah, but now there's a big part of it that's not, so maybe there's movement in the right direction here, which makes it an odd time to bomb Beirut. But anyway, so you got these cats who are somewhat friendly with Iran to a degree, at the very least, right? We'll call them friends, right? If it's us and it's Israel, that's the team, right? On one side. On the other side, it's Iran. And for whatever reason, while we're attacking Iran, people are attacking, or Hezbollah starts attacking from Lebanon. They're on the same side, but let's just say it's just Iran, right? And we go, all right, peace deal. Israel, U.S. won't bomb Iran. Iran won't blast anything at U.S. or Israel. We all shake hands. And then Iran goes, you didn't say anything about Qatar. You didn't say anything about Saudi Arabia. Pew, 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 pew. And it's like, because those are some of our friends in the area. And we would be like, yo, that is not the spirit of the agreement. The spirit of the agreement is everybody stop killing everybody. Everybody love everybody. Pollen's bugging me too much to do that.
Everybody get in the pit.
Yeah. That's it. Get in the pit and try to love someone. But yeah, we would go, hey, that's clearly not the spirit of the agreement. The spirit of the agreement is we're trying to get to peace. How about you not blow up a bunch of people that we like?
Like anybody.
Yeah, don't blow up anybody, but especially people we like. And so what Israel did is they go, all right, so Trump's brokered this deal, and we've agreed to it, I guess. And, let's just attack these people over here. And you go, well, that's clearly going to Netanyahu and much of the leadership over in Israel, you cannot say they're stupid. You cannot say they're not strategic thinkers. You can say lots of things, but those are not things you can accuse them of. They know damn well that undermines the peace process to do a massive bombing campaign. And they did this, was it the Gaza? Was it over Gaza? When Trump was, he tried to get a little ceasefire going there. And it's like ceasefire starts at 7 o'clock, right? And at 5 o'clock, Israel's just like, do. And that's when Trump came out. He's like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And you go, dang, he's getting angry at them. But it's like, you know, you're knowingly undermining the process. Any adult knows it. It's not a anti-Israel, anti-Jewish conspiracy. Any grown adult knows that this will undermine a peace process by bombing the hell out of another country. Is that crazy?
No, I mean, what's the point of the peace talks if there's not going to be peace?
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, we'll just start killing those people then. Right. Like, oh, yeah, kill those people. That's fine.
They like go through it. They're like, not on the list, not on the list, not on the list. All right, fire at those.
Yeah. So wait, which people can we kill? We've all agreed it's the pygmies. But yeah, so all that goes on. So now we've got another thing. And like this whole time, you know, it's a unified front, U.S. and Israel, U.S. and Israel. But clearly, and like Lebanon was never part of the agreement, And but clearly, what's been having to happen this whole time is the Trump team is having to massage Iran over here and say, yeah, just keep the ceasefire. We'll get that strait open. You should open the strait. Open the strait. And they're not doing that. And so while they're doing that, they're going over to Israel and be like, you have to stop bombing Lebanon. Like, you have to stop.
Guys.
Yeah. And they're like, I don't know. Maybe we will. Let's see how much land we can take. And so at some point, I guess they had gotten to a point where Trump's like, all right, but wait. Just wait. Hold on. There's this little report. Israeli government ministers were outraged by today's announced ceasefire with Lebanon, which was revealed on Truth Social by U.S. President Donald J. Trump, who gave Israel's consent to the ceasefire before it could be approved by the Israeli Security Cabinet, according to I-24 News. So there's members of the Israeli government that were like, hey, we didn't even approve that yet. And so I think what Trump did as soon as he got, Netanyahu says, okay, like, you gotta wait for they can't even arrest the guy.
Right.
Anyway, I can see what Trump, I don't need to hear from other people. But at the same time, he probably was like, got a yes? Put it out there. Like, put the yes out there. Let's get the markets moving up and, get this process going.
I have this odd, as we're talking, theory.
Ooh.
You said the new Lebanese president or prime minister, is it president?
I forget. Yeah, president or prime minister.
You said they don't align with Hezbollah.
Yeah.
Is he a plant?
I don't know that he aligns with Israel.
Okay.
I think he just aligns with not being Hezbollah. I think it might just be one of those like, maybe we don't have to be Iranian proxy state. Maybe we could be our own thing. I think that's kind of his position.
All right, good.
Yeah. And I'm fine with a Lebanese guy wanting Lebanon to make Lebanon great again,
Yep.
And especially if they're not going to be make
MLGA.
Make Lebanon great. Yeah.
Guess that works.
Yeah, the Milga movement. But yeah, so I don't know. If he's like, we don't have to be a terrorist state sponsored by Iran. It's like, okay, that's great policy. I support you. Yeah.
Everybody, listen to that guy.
Yeah. He's got interesting thoughts. It's like, hey, we'll just think on our own. Yeah. Now, I don't know how ultimately friendly the country ends up being towards Israel, especially if Israel conquers the southern chunk of it into Beirut, perhaps, or, mass kills lots of citizens in the name of stopping Hezbollah. That it is hard to love thy neighbor that way. So I'd say it's not looking good that they have super favorable views of Israel at the moment. But, one step at a time. Enemies become friends become enemies. Long road. So, yeah, I don't know. So that's where we are. Very soon we will be in a ceasefire again. hopefully, damn Strait of Hormuz opens up, so gas will go down, and my Bitcoin will go back up.
I have such issues with gas prices. It doesn't make sense to me. The gas at the pump has already been processed.
Yeah.
It should not rise so fast.
Right. It's, futures. Well, I don't know how the orders work at gas stations, but oil futures kind of determine the purchasing price of a barrel of oil. So, I don't know. Maybe oil's always...
And the same with price of goods. Like the goods in the store have already been manufactured and trucked to the store.
Right.
So that needs to have a little bit of a delay.
Agree on that one.
But
I don't know the answer to this. Maybe like gasoline and oil products, byproducts, maybe you're always buying today's gas at tomorrow's price.
Oh.
Well,
that's lame.
So like yesterday you bought it at today's price. Day before that you bought it at day before that's price. I don't know. I don't know for sure, but
have to look at that market completely different then.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because I don't know, it just takes time for all that kind of stuff, because people buy these things up in contracts, so yeah, I don't know. I know I remember Southwest, one reason they were able to keep the prices so aggressively low for a good chunk of time is because right before, like, gas prices skyrocketed, whenever that was, COVID or maybe before COVID, whenever it was, I don't remember. But they had just negotiated a new long-term jet fuel deal with whoever their supplier is. And so they locked in some really favorable rates.
Nice.
And so then, like, all of a sudden everything started going up through the roof. And it was like, got a contract. And so it was like Delta and all these other cats were having to raise prices to keep up with the fuel rates. Southwest was just sitting pretty. And they have gotten expensive. They used to be much more affordable.
That airline is not going in the right direction.
Yeah, I like Southwest too. Anyway, let's see. Was there anything else we needed to touch on with Iran? I think that pretty much is everything, other than Trump being Jesus. Oh man, did you notice that So I guess the original guy who made that picture, the Trump Jesus healing thing, he released it back in like February, and like remember like above him it looked like some stuff was coming from the sky.
Yes.
So the original photo looked a lot like kind of angels, or something. Did you notice the one that Trump posted? Someone had edited that where the one in the middle kind of looks like it's got like horns.
I did notice that, and I thought that was odd.
Yeah, looked like Baal or Baal or whatever. You go.
Was that the one? Was that when Iran was throwing all their AI? Which, by the way, fantastic.
Dude, yeah. Iran's AI Lego stuff. I mean, that song.
Dope.
Your country is run by pedophiles. They want you to die for Israel. Like, that's so catchy. And, and like locking in on the Epstein stuff. Like, it's smart strategically because they're like, oh, hey, it's pretty funny. We've always been opposed to the Epstein regime. It's like, yeah, no, I know. You've been opposed to all Steen regimes. Like anything ending in Steen or Stein, you've been pretty opposed to. But like trying to tie into all the different little things that people bitch about on the internet.
Yeah, all the different viral things too. The skateboarding scene was the one that stand out to me. That was based on that one video of the guy that was skateboarding, drinking a gallon of Welch's while he was skateboarding to that. I can't remember which song it was.
Okay,
but they threw that in there.
Okay, I don't think I've seen the original of that.
Except in Iran, there's explosions happening, and
yeah. Well, that's the funny thing too about like so first of all, stellar stuff, and catchy tune, and it's hard to, and some of the stuff you go, all right. Now, Iran doesn't necessarily have room to talk in the countries run by pedophiles realm.
Correct.
When you're marrying like 9-year-old girls and also having little boy parades and stuff. Like, you know, let's not throw stones.
Awkward.
At least in our country, they have to hide it with a complex blackmail ring and go to an island. Like, y'all just do it, you know. So that is one of the things. And then they're like, oh, the way the relationship like racial minorities in this country, stuff like that. And it's just like, y'all throw gays off the roof. It's y'all shoot protesters in the street. Like, none of this to justify saying we need to invade Iran tomorrow, you know, to stop these meanie regimes. But it's one of those things you go like, all right, like, we just would have come out of America because it's catchy and funny. Y'all don't really get to say these things because you're far worse on all of these topics. Maybe not on Jeff Epstein, but maybe. I don't know. He did, you know, he had some homies. All right. They really are good AI. And, like, that's the thing. We're losing the propaganda war. Come on, guys.
Seriously.
I saw Pete Hegseth. I don't even know what it was for. But he was giving some talk where he was quoting the Bible. And he quoted Pulp Fiction instead. And the Samuel L. Jackson part. Like, they rewrote it for the monologue for the movie. They made some tweaks, you know, because Samuel L. Jackson didn't have to say the Bible verbatim. He was about to shoot somebody, you know. It's all about oomph, you know. And well, I guess old Pete didn't read his Bible that close, and so he quoted Samuel L. / Quentin Tarantino instead of God. Anyway, so that's what we're dealing with. We've got that, and they've got some people who can produce. I mean, they can't produce that many like jets. But Lego cartoons, they got that. Which also, by the way, you know, China's been kind of quiet in this whole thing. China had to have made that.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, it was too quick, it's too good. I mean,
no offense, Iran.
Iran's getting bombed. Like,
they don't have time for it.
Yeah, it's like, is that really where like their leadership's getting destroyed? You know, they're just like, hey, could somebody go and make some dank memes? Maybe that's what we need. It was like clearly China's just like, yeah, we made you some stuff. Here's some propaganda. They, oh, whew, thanks. Like they just found out. I didn't even like pull up. I don't have the article. I don't think. You know, big surprise. I guess at some point, one of these satellites that China was launching for themselves was actually they sold to Iran, and they sold software. So the way that Iran was able to bomb our bases was they have a satellite. They have a spy satellite that they bought from China, which I'm sure is going to be the pretext for something horrible later. Like, we have to invade China. They aided Iran, like a year or two ago, but, you know, they were our enemy. Anyway, so if they can buy a spy satellite, I'm sure China tosses in some free videos. And also it's Lego. Like, they manufacture. I'm sure they make all the Legos over there. And so I bet you they even have animation studios for Lego movies over there. They probably already have the software in-house, you know? Because it was quick. I mean, AI can do it, I'm sure, but they've got an army of slaves. Right. All right. So, obviously, no one cares about Iran. It's just World War III. Let's talk about missing scientists. So we had the 10th. Does this have all 10? We had the 10th person go missing that, pull up my notes here. So basically, yeah, pull up this timeline here. So these are all people who have worked at various space or nuclear facilities that have either gone missing or died in the last 3 years. Some of them have ties to one another, some don't. Let's see what we got. All right, so how does this list everything? Well, whatever, I'm going to just do my list. So Steven Garcia, he worked for Kansas City National Security Campus in Albuquerque. What a weird sentence. government contractor property custodian at Kansas City National Security Campus in Albuquerque, New Mexico, part of the National Nuclear Security Administration. Manufactures 80% of non-nuclear components for U.S. nuclear weapons. Top security clearance, overnight, or especially oversight of classified equipment's assets tied to nuclear weapons programs. Missing since August 28th, as you see on the screen there. Left home on foot with only a handgun, no phone, keys, or wallet. So he left his phone, his keys, and his wallet, and he took a handgun, and he just disappeared. Old William Neal McCaslin, where is he on this list? Missing since February 27th of this year. Former commander, Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where a lot of the space stuff is rumored to be around. He oversaw $2.2 billion science tech programs, including nuclear capabilities, advanced aerospace, and propulsion research. He's been missing since then, He left home on foot with a revolver, no phone, or glasses. And he had professional ties to this Monica Reza. Then you got Anthony Chavez, former employee at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Nuclear Weapons Research Lab, Manhattan Project Heritage. He retired in 2017. He had ties to high security nuclear research. He's been missing since May 4th/8th because he's got two homes and he left one. Basically left one house and he changed his shirt, or he left his shirt. But at the second house, he his car, his keys, and his wallet were left behind, and he left on foot.
Do you have a gun?
This one did not have a gun, I don't think. Then there's Melissa Cassius. There she is. So she administrative assistant at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Support role, nuclear weapons lab. Missing since June 26, 25. Left home on foot after dropping off lunch with her daughter. And she left her wiped reset phone, car keys, wallet, and walked into the desert.
What in the world?
Yep.
And she's an admin assistant?
Administrative assistant at Los Alamos. Yeah.
Okay.
Monica Jacinto Reza. Director of Materials Processing Group, aerospace engineer with NASA JPL projects and Aerojet Rocketdyne ties. Her specialty is material science, co-inventor of Mondalloy, which is a nickel-based superalloy critical for advanced rocket propulsion. And the work was funded by AFRL, I forget what that is. But missing since June 22nd, 2025. Vanished while hiking in the Angeles National Forest, California, yards from companions despite search efforts. Had close professional ties to the Caslin there. So she just disappeared. They didn't find her body eaten by mountain lions or anything like that. She was just gone. Just gone. And then, let's see, what else we got? Nuno Loureiro, professor, director, MIT Plasma Science and Fusion Center. Theoretical plasma physics was a specialty, nuclear fusion energy. He was shot and killed at his home in Brookline, Massachusetts on December 15th, 2025. Perpetrator was a known acquaintance from the University of Portugal, and he later killed himself. So his friend shot him, or his acquaintance murdered him and then killed himself.
So he's definitely dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I assume all these were. Carl Grillmer, astrophysicist at Caltech, research supported by NASA JPL. His specialty was galactic structures, stellar streams, asteroid comet tracking, NASA space telescopes, and infrared systems with Air Force ties for missiles/satellite tracking. He was shot and killed on his front porch, February 16th, 2026. And a suspect was charged. Motive is unclear. Then you got old Frank Mywald, senior principal scientist at NASA JPL, especially space instruments for detecting signs of life on the moon, like Europa, I don't know how to pronounce that, or dwarf planet Ceres. He's a microwave/remote sensing tech. He died July 4th. He was 61. No one's said the cause, but he died. He wasn't murdered. He like died, so could have been blood pressure. It could have been whatever, you know.
Heart attack gun. Who knows?
Yeah, 61. It's not that old. Let's see, where's old Frank on this list? There he is. Looked like he was in. Oh, July 4th on the nation's birthday. But he didn't look like he was a obese fella or anything. They got Michael David Hicks, age 59, research scientist at NASA JPL. Specialty of physical properties of comets and asteroids, contributed to DART asteroid deflection and Deep Space One missions. He died on July 30th, 2023. Once again, it was not ruled like homicide, so there's no like cause. And then last but not least, Jason Thomas, which kind of fits in a weird way, but I don't know. A pharmacist, chemical biologist at Novartis. He's a chemical biology / cancer treatments his specialty. Less direct is, let's see, he doesn't really have like the same sort of ties. But he was found in a lake in March 17th, 2026. No foul play suspected. Personal reports. Personal factors noted. He's the one that fits the least, but, I guess treating cancer or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. He's included for some reason as one of them. So you got all these guys that are gone. Or all these people, guys and gals. Getting murdered on your front porch is an odd one. And getting murdered in your own home by an acquaintance from college is an odd one. It is. There's crazy people. There's stuff. There's the guy that shot the dude on his porch. I guess he had been there another time, like with a rifle, and had the cops called on him. I don't know why he was back out with a rifle. But anyway, there have been times in our nation where people have been manipulated into shooting people, it sure seems like. Jack Ruby, possibly Oswald. But, what is that? Where they were giving people acid and brainwashing them.
MK Ultra?
MK Ultra. A little MK Ultra action, yeah. So, outside the pharmaceutical guy, 2 people die, quote unquote, natural causes, probably. It's just low key kind of person dies. No, here's an obituary. One person, one of the 2, in their obit, it said like, donate to Alcoholics Anonymous. So, maybe he had an issue. Maybe he died of. Maybe he drank himself to death. Maybe he got in a car wreck. Well, I guess I would have said car wreck. But, yeah, maybe there was something, that's sort of a private family matter that doesn't need to be talked about. But also then this guy in this group was self-medicating. Maybe it means something. Maybe it doesn't. But the number of people that just left their phones.
5 people.
And just left. 2 of them with a handgun. 2 of them are like, all I need is a handgun. One left his glasses, which is an odd one. Because, you go, okay, the phone, you don't want to be tracked. I got it. Wallet, same thing. You don't want to use your cards or anything, I guess. You don't want to have ID in case someone, whatever. But your glasses, that's an odd one.
Yeah, my initial thoughts were, okay, maybe whatever they're doing, they're not supposed to bring certain materials. If you leave your keys, that's metal, but the gun is metal. Glasses have glass. So I thought maybe glass is a problem for whatever you're doing. My head went way down a path, maybe they're time traveling. I don't know.
That's one of those fun things about it. Let's see, where are these guys? Yeah, okay.
Why would you ID? You don't want an ID if, let's just say, my tin hat is bright.
Okay.
You don't want to ID yourself. You don't want to have ID on you when you jump time. You don't want anyone to know
when you're from.
When you're from. And then, like, but that's when I was thinking, all right, materials, will that mess up whatever, if time travel's existing? But it doesn't. It's just very odd.
All right, let's see. Missing. Got a old fella, couple gals, not too old. And one of them, that's the other thing. One of these, I think Melissa, was it Melissa that did this? Hold on.
Steven Garcia was maintenance at Los Alamos.
Yeah, he was
And Melissa was admin.
Do you just remember all this stuff from me riffing it just now?
Yeah.
Damn. I'm pulling up the notes because I forgot. So Melissa's 53. Hers was the weird one, too, because her husband worked there, too. And so she dropped him off in one of the buildings and was like, oh, I've got something to do at this other building. So I'm going to go over there and I'll see you later, honey. He's like, all right, sounds good. So she doesn't go to another building. She drives home. And then she brings her daughter, sounds like maybe an adult daughter, lunch at I think it said she worked at a cafe or something. But so she brings her daughter lunch, which I guess is something she did sometime. They had a very normal conversation. And then, like, we'll just say hers was. And then she wiped her phone, left her keys and car and wallet, and then just walked into the desert. Like somebody, like a relative or something, was like, oh, I saw her walking down, basically just walking in the desert. And so it's like, all right, so we're leaving like families behind. It's weird. Like, it's weird. And
the missing ones are more weird than the dead ones.
Yeah. And so, some people are saying like, well, maybe they have information and foreign actors are trying to get at them, And then you go, maybe some of these people are spies. Maybe they were compromised. And, they leave all the stuff behind and they walk, and a helicopter is waiting for them or something. But I guess there weren't like helicopters spotted in the area necessarily that was reported about. And like the one lady that was hiking, I guess maybe she could have just like run off to meet somewhere, hop in a car drives away, So it could be like maybe they're all
sleeper agents.
We're just compromised. I mean, but the problem too is like a few of them are retired. You know?
That's odd.
So it's like, all right, so Neil McCaslin here, like he was retired and he just sort of like grabbed a piece and disappeared. His wife came out and said, "What is wife?
Why would you need a gun?"
Well, I guess if you're gonna be walking through the desert, walking through whatever terrain.
That's true.
All right, in case I see a coyote or something, Let's see.
So there must be a base out there somewhere.
And that's the thing. It's California. It's New Mexico, largely, and then there's Massachusetts. Oh man, I didn't log in. Well, the wife came out and said like she was reading a bunch of stuff online, and like he's been retired a long time. He was not like, yes, he was like an alien guy for a little bit, but he wasn't really into that, And she goes, but really at this point, since he's disappeared without a trace, maybe the thing that makes the most sense is he got beamed up to the mothership. And you go, well, that's rather flippant. Like, your husband's missing. And you're like, I don't know. Maybe he got beamed up to outer space with the aliens. And you go,
she sits back, lights up a smoke like it's nothing.
And maybe she is like, it's like, I don't know. Something's wrong with him. Or he left me. Either way, he's been home all the time since being retired and just blah, 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 blah. So whatever. That bastard either left me for some hooah or the space aliens got him. Probably space hooahs. What do you got going on there?
It's just interesting timing. That whole object that's traveling through space has stopped.
Oh, the asteroid thing?
Yes.
It stopped?
It's supposedly has stopped, which some analysts have said is extremely impossible.
I mean, if it has stopped, you don't often have brakes on an asteroid. Is this the one that had all the weird metals it was made of?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's that, and it's altered direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has stopped. Well, when they say it has stopped in an orbit that ties along with Jupiter.
Huh.
So maybe that's where they're all at.
Maybe. I just hear people from Jupiter are stupider. You know?
Wow.
That's you can take that to the bank. Take that to the bank right there. That's some Frankenstein right there. So I don't know. You know, hopeful. You hope that there's some sort of like, you know, kind of joke, some sort of gulch going on. Because have you read Atlas Shrugged or aware of the concept?
Yeah.
And so like you're kind of hoping like, all right, so different people are disappearing one at a time. Just, you know, that's a lot like Atlas Shrugged, and they were all going to like start a new society. So maybe these people are going to start a new society, and maybe they've figured out clean energy, you know, like fusion.
Yeah, the one guy, that was a very interesting murder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe I don't know, maybe they got it. So that's my hopeful Frank Stradamus.
Who is John Galt? Is that?
Yeah. Is that what I say? Did I say Nostrafrancus or Frank Stradamus?
Ooh, that's tough.
How have I been saying it? I'm going to say...
I think Nostrafrancus?
That's what I thought too. But then I think I got corrected one time. Then I realized I don't pay attention to what comes out of my mouth. Anyway, Frank Stradamus. And... that's my hope is they're off somewhere creating an open source micro fusion reactor, and we're about to get like awesome energy and not have to worry about the Strait of Hormuz anymore, and everyone will be happy. So clearly that's not what it's going to be. Speaking of Los Alamos, this isn't really on my list here, but did you hear what's his name? Jeffrey Corbin or something Corbin. He's like the documentary guy that he made the documentary about Bob Lazar working on like the propulsion for the UFOs and stuff like that. Jeremy Corbin. So I guess he's got a new documentary coming out, and a big part of his source materials is this dude who worked for Los Alamos for years as a scientist. Like he died, just died old age, you know. And his kid was going through, cleaning through all the stuff, and he found just boxes of files. And like it seems that the father was sent to like, well, I don't know if the father was, but it was notes about people's reports of alien encounters, sketches. There was sketches of UFOs and photos and all this stuff where you go, it sure seems to show that they were working on UFOs at Los Alamos.
I mean, Lockheed Martin has basically said they're reverse engineering stuff.
Have they?
Yeah. Like, there's been interviews with, I don't, if you call them representatives, employees, whatever, that are like, yeah. Yeah, they're basically working on stuff they can't even talk about. And it's just like, okay, you're admitting it.
Yeah. But I guess, I mean, you know, Bob Lazar said it. He thought they had like 10 in this place. Like he had a very specific one that he could work on, but at one point all like the hangar doors were open or something. He could look down, looked like there was like 10, and his lab mate said at least one of them came from archaeological dig, and So it's been there for a long time. But you go, okay, so if the government has 10 and like back in the 80s, they're not really getting anywhere. You go, all right, well, maybe you give one to Lockheed, you give one to, Boeing, you give one to, there's only so many defense contractors. You just pick your favorites and you each give them one, and you go, take a crack at it, boys. Like, this is what we found so far, and we're kind of stuck. So let's figure this thing out. So maybe someone stole a UFO and all these people are going out to space. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool if that was the answer?
That would be awesome. I would be jealous.
Yeah. Imagine someone just going like, listen, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to steal a UFO. I'm going to get you. I got to go up and do it.
I'm going to pick you up at this rock in the middle of the desert.
I mean, if you're landing a UFO, you probably want somewhere isolated. And
Bring a weapon just in case you encounter wildlife. Is that the explanation?
Sure. Yeah. Or maybe you just go, I don't know what I'm going to see in space. What if there's some sort of weird alien guy that tries to get fresh,
The SNL skits I can't with.
Just waving a long finger towards you, and you go, you keep that where I can see it. But I don't know, like go up, do a little rotate, get in the Earth's orbit, come back down, or maybe go underwater. Whatever. It seems like these things can go underwater.
But you can't come back.
Yeah,
because you can't be unless they wipe your memory. You can't be trusted.
Right. What? And all these people who have worked in and around this stuff for a while, maybe that's like the final frontier. You just go, hey, what if tomorrow you could be on a UFO in space, and we know a direction to head, or we know we can go anywhere.
They're like, bye, family.
Yeah.
See ya.
You're like, the kids are grown,
Miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right. Maybe they go, we can come back. We can come back anytime. Like we'll just land it back down.
I'm so jealous if they're like just traveling space right now.
What if this is like, what if they're all, what are the dates on all these things again? Hold on before I say this theory. What year is this? Okay, so we got that one dude dead at 23. Everybody else is 2024, 2025. 2024 dead. So all the missing people, though, are 2025. May, June, a couple days later.
Jason died, though.
August. Yeah, and then the last dude.
Yeah, there's a campaign in 2025 of missing.
Yeah, and if you look at it, it was like May 8th, June 22nd, June 26th, August 28th. Those people went missing. Bam, 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 bam. And then a year later, old Neil goes missing. So, like, what if somebody stole this UFO?
Or maybe that they're the only ones that aliens would trust with some technology.
How do they trust these freaks?
Well, they're all nerds. Well, I mean,
we got a secretary and a mechanic. And
she's a really good secretary. Yeah,
might be. Not bad looking from her tiny little photo. But you go like, hey, we'll go. This is what I was gonna say. What if they're all like, Trump's gonna start World War III. This is gonna be the end of society. If Trump gets elected, I'm leaving the country. And they go, steal the UFO. Let's do it. This is what we've been waiting on.
I got the keys.
We're gonna steal this UFO. Come on. And then he's like, well, I can't get out yet. Like I've got some things I need to wrap up. I can't just go. And then they go, how about now, Neil? He goes, all right, I can go. My wife's driving me crazy.
Other than stealing the UFO, but the time thing is interesting. Like they have to wrap up their lives.
Yeah. Just saying, he's like, well, I've got a prestigious career. I've got things. I can't just go. I'm a orderly military man. I've got a plan for my crazy escape. But I don't know. This thing, it's not like this perfect picture yet, but it is odd, and it does seem to like not be nothing, you know?
Right.
Especially just if you just look at like especially the 2025 disappearances, and then the thing that ties it, the Monica got funding from Neil. Like they had at least met professionally, at least by email or whatever. But the way Neil leaves is very similar to the way one of these other guys left, where it's like just a gun.
Steven, yeah.
Yeah. It's like just a gun and I'm out, you know?
This is going to bother me for like the next week.
This can bother you forever, Charlie.
Yep.
Because here's the thing. What if there's...
Especially if more keep happening.
Exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. That's exactly what I was going to say. Here's the thing. What if it just keeps happening? What if more people add to it? You know? And like other people that worked at aviation, aerospace, nuclear stuff. You know? Like what... But that is the question though, because like none of these seem like key figures where it would make sense to. I mean, some of them maybe, the ones that are dead already, but like the ones that are missing, you go. It doesn't seem to make sense to abduct them or to murder them, and also, I mean, I guess if you're really good at abducting somebody, you probably would leave all their stuff behind and just take them. But you know, they saw what's her face just walking away. You know, they just saw her walking. So she wasn't under duress. She was just walking. So the question does have to pop up, like, maybe they had been feeding secrets and maybe they thought they were about to be found out, you know? And maybe old Neil was too, and he thought, they're not going to find out. And then he was like, I don't know. They might find out. I'm out of here. So maybe they've all absconded to Russia, China. I don't know who else would have the guts for that kind of operation. But I don't know. It doesn't. You feel like, yeah, you could probably get, I don't know. I mean, with enough money, a lot of people make decisions. But you don't have to actually back up the part where you say, don't worry, we got your back, you know? Because, like, if I've flipped somebody in whatever country, you know, and I go, hey, big sack of cash, you keep feeding me information, I keep feeding you cash. You go, okay. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to even set up an offshore account. I'm going to just put it right in there. Forget taxes. It's not even in your name. It's the name of this LLC that'll exist forever. Congratulations. You know, you're rich now. What if I get caught? You'll always have a home in St. Petersburg. You know, like, we'll get you out, right? And so you get all your information. Maybe they retire. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just starting to get scared, and they go, okay, get me out. You don't say, okay. You go, yeah, just hang in there a little bit. Especially if they're still working. You go, just hang in. We just need a little bit more. And you string them along, and you string them along. And if they get caught, you go, yeah, well, you know, you develop another one. Hopefully you already are developing another one. But, like, you don't go, yeah, I'm going to invade the other country that I'm spying on.
Extract you.
Yeah, and extract you back to my country. Like, sorry, no, you're going to get executed for treason, and I don't care. We're going to ride this as long as we can, and then you die by your country or by my hand. You know, like, at the most I'm going to do is send somebody to kill you in your home. You know, but as far as extracting, so like that just doesn't seem likely. You know. What if it's like a great, like, they've joined a cult. They've, like, started this weird, like, worshipping the atom cult. And it's just, they're all out at, like, Joshua Tree, just painted, half naked, and doing all sorts of sleazy things. That's probably what it's going to end up being.
We found everybody.
We found everybody. What are they doing? It's like, we can't really talk about it. It's
just dropping acid.
It's like, ends up, that's what they figured out acid again. They figured out LSD. they're in a little dehydrated, fine spirits though. Lots of experimentation, I'd say. Lots of experimentation with their bodies, if you know what I'm talking about. They were in the world of nuclear, and now they're fusing the bodies. What do you say?
Oh, just the quote. This has hallmarks of a foreign operation. I mean, does it though?
You know, I think they had a quote from some dude that used to work at the FBI or CIA or something. But, like, they said that about the Hunter Biden laptop. You know, this has all the hallmarks of a Russian intelligence operation. Yeah, I don't think it does. I think it's just a crackhead that left his computer like, no, this feels like spies. This is spy stuff.
You're like, have you seen the video? He recorded himself.
Yeah, he's just smoking crack and banging feet and stuff, you know? Like, he's just, oh, man. Have you heard about what he's up to now?
Oh, no.
Oh, so Hunter Biden has no money, apparently.
Oh, wait, is this, never mind. I go ahead. Sorry.
So he's agreed to be featured on this tour. I forget what it's called, but it's like a 3-stop summer tour. And the guy organizing it has proposed a plan where he could cage fight Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. And Hunter Biden announced he's in.
Of course he is.
He's in.
He's like, yep, sounds good.
Yeah, I'll fight anybody. Like, just give me a couple of rips off of this thing. You ever try to stop a crackhead? Come on. But it would be funny, like, Don Jr. all coked up, Hunter Biden, high on crack, and you just go, let's see what happens.
Paulie Market's going to be off the charts.
Ends up they just sit there talking 1,000 miles an hour at each other about nonsense. End it by coming up with a good business plan for something stupid involving foreign influence peddling. And then they become president and vice president. That's how it'll end.
And walk away into the desert with just a handgun.
Hand in hand. Oh, yeah. Didn't Hunter Biden, wasn't that one of his underwear pictures, didn't he have a handgun?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So I think that's the handgun they'll use. It might smell a little bit like his nether regions. His nether regions. This is a family show, so this is why I use language like this. It's we've actually a large new sponsor. It's Tina's Daycare, and they broadcast this live for their children, just to make sure they're properly well-rounded with current events. So thank you, Tina's. More juice for those kids, you know. We gotta do an ad read sometimes, Charlie. These people are supporting us. All right, what else? Oh yeah,
I'm so glad we're back.
It's the cutting edge news that the people need. So we might be wrapping up. It's okay, Charlie. We might be wrapping up Iran, which is great because it had the potential for World War III. We kind of did that thing with Venezuela, I remembered. And
the incursion.
The incursion we incurred. Well, Pentagon ramps up planning for possible military ops in Cuba. Let's see. This is in USA Today. Military planning for a possible Pentagon-led operation in Cuba is quietly ramping up in case President Donald Trump gives an order to intervene there, USA Today has learned. Two sources familiar with the order spoke to USA Today. The directives appear to be an escalation of recent tensions between U.S. and Cuba. It began in January when Trump curbed oil shipments to Cuba as part of a broader campaign to force sweeping political change in the communist-run island. That's kind of what happened by nature of Venezuela getting taken out too. They lost their backing. Let's see. Reports of plans to escalate first appeared in Teo's Substack, whatever the hell that is. United States and Cuba acknowledge they are in the early stages of trying to find a way out of this crisis. Did you even know we had a crisis right now with Cuba? All right. But it's not clear how much each side is willing to compromise on what On what? In March, USA Today reported the two countries have been in discussion to sign a possible historic economic deal that would thaw relations. Great. That sounds nice. Even as the Trump administration's attention has shifted to the Iran war, Trump has suggested he expects soon to have the honor of taking Cuba in some form, adding, whether I free it, take it, I think I can do anything I want with it. Trump told USA Today on April 13th at the White House, we may stop by Cuba after we're finished with this.
Stop by.
Yeah. In a recent interview with Newsweek, Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel vowed that his country would fight back if the United States launched a military attack with wood. We will battle, we will defend ourselves, and should we fall in battle, to die for the homeland is to live. Yeah, that's the spirit. Yeah. So, sorry, you were on screen. I was just letting that breathe of you just shaking your head in disgust. Yeah, Cuba.
Great.
The crisis between the U.S. and Cuba right now. The crisis over the stuff, you know?
Cigars? Like, what are we talking about here?
The crisis! I mean, Cuba is definitely, like, in crisis right now.
Yes.
And they might be salty at us for taking out their benefactor, which is fine. That's still not a crisis on this side of the water. They don't have a lot of oil. They don't have a lot of power at all. A lot of blacking out. Lots of, apparently at nighttime, it's just totally dark. And so they're, you know, it's not good over there. It hasn't been for a while. I'm not sure what crisis we have. I'm all about if Trump and this guy get together and they go, hey, why don't you allow American companies to come back in the way they were in like the 50s and stuff before Castro did his thing, and let's, turn this thing into because it used to be a thriving vacation destination. People love going to Cuba, the resorts and all that kind of stuff. And so, like, hell, I'd love to go to it.
Trump's first term, he opened it up. He got it opened up for a little bit.
I think that was Obama.
Or was it Obama?
Yeah, Obama lifted the restrictions, so you were allowed to go there.
If you had relatives, right? You had to have a relative.
I don't remember, but I know at some point you could just go. And I don't know if that was Trump or Obama or both, some combination thereof. But it was opened up, and it's like, okay, you can go there now. And the challenge is don't get robbed while you're there. I know, I think I probably told you this, but there was one year where I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just opting out of Thanksgiving this year. I'm just going to go somewhere. And I ended up going nowhere, but I was like, maybe I'll go to Cuba. I was like, that could be fun. And so I was like, things to do in Cuba, and like, they popped up a couple things. And, I was typing in things to do in Cuba, and like the Google thing was like, for a guy. I'm like, yeah, or 4 men or something. I was like, let's see, things to do in Cuba for men. Ends up, especially when you type in 4 men vacation destinations, it pretty much just tells you about all the prostitution. And so it was like guides. It was like, they looked like normal travel websites, but they're like, all right, so if you get a hooker, you're really going to, don't go back to a room they suggest, because what's going to happen is someone's going to come in and rob you and maybe beat you up a little bit. So it's all this stuff about the hooker industry. And you just go, all right, well.
Anything else?
Yeah, what else can we do? And it seemed like you can walk around until you find a nice hooker and then get robbed and get back on it the next day. Rinse and repeat. So, anyway, I didn't go to Cuba. I'm sure there's other stuff to do, but that's not what the internet said. And that's once again a segment for Tina's Daycare. The oldest profession, children, is prostitution, where a woman will sell her body for the pleasure of men in exchange for cash. Tina's daycare. All right. Yeah. Where are we at? Okay. I think that's probably good for today. Remember to like us on all the things, the Twitters, the Instagrams, YouTube, Rumbles, Apples, I don't know, wherever you get your podcast. Spotify, that's a good one. But tell your friends, share links, view our clips. All these things help us in the algorithms that rule our lives with an iron fist until we succumb to them like feeble babies sobbing on our knees. What do you got for the people, Charlie?
Today's grok fact of the day. It's not really related to the date. It's just a general fact. Cheese is the world's most stolen food. About 4% of all global cheese production gets swiped every year.
Really?
4% of all global cheese.
I'm going to start stealing cheese. Yeah. Getting cheesy. It's not easy being cheesy. Yeah, goodbye.